All right, so this morning, I call this just inspiration. It's not part of our More with Less. We're kind of done with that for the year. But I wanted to talk about connecting your passion. And what I mean with that is connect your passion to everyday life. And I think the people who do amazing things in life figured this out. They figured out how to live every single day as if it were important and exciting. So make what you do why you do it. And make why you do it bigger than you. That's kind of the secret to get us started here. So find a worthy why to live into. When, for many years, when we would go to a family cabin with my family or Sarah's family, where the entire family gets together, we go to a cabin. This is kind of the thing we do on both sides. I would show up at the family cabin, and my why for showing up at the family cabin was I wanted a break. I wanted a vacation. I might work super hard that week, and we show up at the cabin on Friday, and I'm tired. And my why for going to the family cabin was not to connect with people, not to build relationships, but to get a break, to have a vacation. That was my why. And that's okay if it's just me and Sarah going somewhere and we're going somewhere to just get a break and get a vacation. But when you show up at the family cabin with all the nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters, if you're showing up for a vacation, that why is a bad why. So I had to change my why, because when I showed up and wanted to relax, I had no motivation to do anything. I wanted to sit on my laurels and be fed. Like, bring me the cinnamon rolls, bring me the food, everybody else take care of cleaning up, everybody else play with the kids, everybody else have good conversations, but not me. I want to just sit and relax. Because that was my why. So find a worthy why. I don't think why I was going on vacation with the family to the cabin was a good why. So when we can choose a why, what we choose to do with our lives must be bigger than what it can do for us. So when I showed up at family vacation, I was showing up for myself. I was not showing up for something bigger than myself. Does that make sense? So when you have a why, a worthy why is bigger than yourself. It's something that doesn't just have to do with you. It's something that's good for everybody. So if you want to find a worthy why and live with passion, make sure what you're living for is bigger than yourself. All right? The other thing is, our why determines the outcome as much as what we do. As much as what we do, the why matters. So going to work, we all have to go to work. But if you have a bigger why than just making money, the outcome is much different, even if you still go to work just like the guy right beside you. Does that make sense? If you show up at work with a bigger why to impact people's lives, to invest in each other, to grow yourself personally, your outcome is going to be very different than the guy right beside you who's just showing up for work because he needs money. Okay? So your why determines the outcome as much as what we do. Has just as big of an effect. And this one here, I think, is kind of a key thing. Lack of passion and energy in life is often a result of a bad or disconnected why. Not every time. Sometimes it's because you've been overworking yourself, you've not been getting enough sleep, there's a lot of stressors in life. That can also lead to low passion and energy. But most times, when you see somebody who's not excited about every single day, it's because they have a bad why or they're not living into their why. So if you're showing up at work and you're tired and you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, it's because you don't have a good why or you're not connecting into that why. We were, this past week, we visited 3 different states, a lot of different missionaries, and these missionaries, they show up to work not for money. They show up to work because they care about what they're doing. And just like we can get lost, we can disconnect from our why, or we don't have a good why, they can have the same thing. I've seen missionaries who are tired out and they don't know why they're talking to this person, they don't know why they're giving this haircut, they don't know why they're doing what they're doing, because they lost that connection to their why. And they're tired, and all they're doing is answering emails, or all they're doing is sweeping the floor, and it's like, Man, that's easy. I do fencing for a living, and that's difficult. Well, the thing is, anything is hard if you do not have a good why. You will be tired, even if you're doing the greatest thing, if you're not connected to your why. So I was giving it some thought, and I was like, well, what makes showing up to work, if you're a missionary, showing up to the YWAM base in San Francisco, if you don't get paid to show up? Why show up? Because you have a why. Because you're trying to invest in people's lives, because you're excited about changing the city. So just like they need to show up not to get paid, I would argue that the people who show up for work just to get paid are going to just get paid. And that's all that's going to happen. They're not going to advance. They're not going to be influencing people. But the people who show up for work, yes, we all need to make a living. But when it's bigger than that, good things happen. You can live with a passion. You can have energy. And every day is significant. You're not just saving money for retirement or saving money for the weekend. Work and what you do every single day has meaning. So this is why it's important to connect what we do to why we do it. When you can make that connection, if you show up to work, and I'm using work a lot, but if you show up to work and you want to influence the people around you and you want to grow personally, all of a sudden, every single thing you do every single day, it brings fulfillment. It's the small things, but it has meaning. It's building it as something bigger. If you don't have that connected, the little things seem insignificant. It's like you're going nowhere. This is all I'm doing every single day. It's just a daily grind. That's no fun. But when it's part of something bigger, you got energy. You have passion. So it brings fulfillment to the small things. This is what I love about it. It gives energy and motivation for everyday responsibilities. The responsibilities you have then are not weighing you down because it's part of something that's growing you. It's part of an opportunity to invest in other people. So back to the cabin thing, when I looked at what was going on, why I'm just sitting there so tired, I was like, my why is wrong. So I changed my why. I go to family vacations, to the cabin, to tenting, whatever it is. I'll go to Tennessee with the hope of tenting in July and not actually go tenting. It works out great. But I'll do that with excitement because I get to invest in the people around me. When I change the why, all of a sudden I have energy to get up off my laurels, wash the dishes, clean up the lunch that was out there, whatever it is that I can do to serve people. I have energy. Seriously, I don't feel like sitting around because I want to invest in people. So when I did that, when I changed the why and connected it to the little things that I do on family vacation, I have energy. So it gives that motivation and energy. And the other thing that's important with a good why is it keeps us focused on the right task. So all of a sudden, when you have a good reason and you connect that to what you do, it'll keep you focused. So back to vacation, when my nephew comes up and says, hey, can we pitch ball? Can you throw frisbee with me? Yep, I want to do that. It keeps me focused on the right things because now I have energy to do it. Before, it was kind of a thing I didn't want to do. I wanted to stay sitting down, looking at a book, relaxing in the air conditioning. I don't want to get all sweaty. Are you kidding me? But when you have the right why, all of a sudden, what you do, it matters and it keeps us focused on it. So I hope this is making sense, but the why is very, very important. Have a good why, a solid why. And then experience the results. This here is huge. Live with an overall energy and motivation beyond ourselves in everyday life. So when you have a good why that's bigger than yourself, all of a sudden you have energy that's bigger than yourself. If your why is as big as yourself, as much energy as you're feeling, that's what you're going to do. But when your why is bigger, your energy's bigger. Guarantee you. For me, for work, I'm not here to make money. I've told you guys that. And I mean that 100%. I am not here for myself for money. I'm here to invest in you guys, to invest in our employees, to invest in our customers, our vendors, in our community. That is why I'm here. And because of that, sometimes I'm feeling a little sick. I'm feeling a little tired. I had a rough night, or the week was busy. I'm still here and I'm still excited because my why is bigger than myself. Makes it so worth it. The other thing that's really cool about a big why is the results are bigger than what we could have imagined. If your why is really small, the results you're going to get are also going to be small. But when you have a big why, big things happen because you're living into something bigger. What you do is more important, and you do it with all your heart. And then all of a sudden, you're starting to really make a big impact. So if you want big results, have a big why. And here's the really neat thing. Experience true long-term fulfillment from where we spend our resources, where we spend our time, our money, our energy, our thoughts. Whatever we're doing, when we're putting it into something big, we get long-term fulfillment. I know there's a lot of people in the world today who are going after money. And when they get the money, they're disillusioned. They thought once they had $1 million, they would be happy. But then all of a sudden, they're not. There's plenty of rich people, sadly, who are ending their life early because they went after a why that was as big as themselves, and when they got it, it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. They did not experience true long-term fulfillment. There's plenty of people like that. So I challenge you, find a good why. If you're not on a good why, if you're showing up to work because you need money, change your why. Money will follow it. Success always follows a good why. But if your why is small, even if you get that why, you will not experience long-term fulfillment. I cannot say that strongly enough. Have a good why. Make sure your why is good. So I'd say take some time, think about why you do what you do every single day, and make sure it's a big why. And if it is, you're going to experience amazing long-term fulfillment. You're going to experience amazing success. And yes, money is part of why we show up to work, but it should be only a very small part. You should be doing what you do because you're living into a bigger why. So find a worthy why. A worthy why is bigger than yourself. It serves other people. It serves the people around you. It's something bigger than just serving yourself. And then connect what you do to why you do it. If you can do that, you'll show up wherever it is every single day with energy and excitement and a passion that's bigger than yourself. And then you'll experience the long-term results of a bigger why. So if our why goes beyond ourselves, so will our energy and the results of what we do. So I was thinking a lot about that this past week as I looked at people who are showing up not because they're getting paid, but because they're passionate about something. And I really think we should be no different. I think the successful people in life have a bigger why. So if you want to be successful, and I think success is influencing people, investing in yourself and growing, if you want that, have a bigger why. And it's an exciting life. All of a sudden, you have energy. You might not have gotten much sleep last night, but you'll have energy because it's bigger than you. So live into a big why, connect that passion to what you do, and watch life become very, very exciting and fulfilling.